Welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me here today on our Friday review, one of my favorite shows of the week. We get to talk a little bit about all the things that I love, a little bit of healthy biohacking. We do a recap of the week from all of the shows on the Cabral Concept. Two great research studies for you today that you're not going to want to miss. They're both on the brain, one on a specific nutrient that's dirt cheap to be able to get, and the other is on a specific fruit that we've known now to be quite exceptional for the brain and cognition. You don't want to miss it, especially if you have any Alzheimer's, dementia in your family or genes. So we'll take a look at that. We will take a look at what's going on in our private practice, but also I didn't want you to miss this because we have a very special product review here today. I've been using this now for over 3 years, and I wanted to give you an update. So every once in a while, I'll bring you through an update of a product that I've been using for quite some time, especially if they've updated their research as well, and they have. So really excited about this one, and I've got two different versions to bring you as well, one for the car and one for your home. And let's just say it's the best thing that we know of right now to be able to cut down on and block the harmful effects of EMFs. So if you live in the modern day world, and I know that you do because you're listening to this podcast, you're going to want to check out this product review. All right, we've got our book review of the well as well. I'll be sharing that. And as we always do, let's get started with where we are right now in this special time of the year. It is, well, just post-Thanksgiving. So hopefully you enjoyed an amazing Thanksgiving here in the U.S. yesterday with your family. I know that I did. I love being able to travel, see my extended family for the holidays, and just, again, have a little downtime. So for this week in general, my daughters have the week off. I try to spend a little extra time with them, just making sure that they're feeling the love, that they know that it's not all work, that there's also a lot of play, and then we can have fun, that we can enjoy. And we can enjoy travels together, we can enjoy the holidays, and just a lot more family-based time. So that's what I love most about the holidays, and that's what we try to instill in both of my daughters, is that, you know, it's not always about the gifts during the holidays. It's not always about all the different birthday presents or even parties. It's the communal nature. It's getting together with the people that you care most for in this world. And so that's what I really love about the holidays. And I hope that I'm not the first person, of course, but happy holidays to you and your family. I do hope that you enjoy this season and maybe a little bit extra R&R, a little rest. And also what I'd love to be able to do is just say, let's think towards in the future as well. So coming in December, just a couple weeks from now, we'll actually start to go through some future casting, some envisioning of what you want your next 12 months to look like. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing that on the Mindset and Motivation Mondays. My favorite time of the year to absolutely do this is not in January. Believe it or not, it's in December. You don't want to start January 2nd, I believe, is the first Monday, or actually, yes, it's the 2nd. We don't want to start the year without the plan. We want to go into the year with the plan. Now, the nice thing is you come up with a plan over the next 4 weeks or so, and then you don't have to work on it yet, but it's there, it's ready to be executed on. So definitely stay tuned for those Mindset and Motivation Mondays. They will be coming. All right, so I also wanted to share with you, because I just mentioned it a week or two ago, is that I've started to up my own training program. Now, a lot of it has to do with a brand new coaching service that I'll be offering in January, and that has to do with high performance. And so what I want to be able to do is take people with me on my journey. One of my favorite things to absolutely do is continue to up-level my own health and wellness and basically overall optimization. So I run advanced lab testing. I'm using all sorts of different healthy biohacking-based products. If you get my email newsletter, you see them on Wednesdays, what I'm using, but I'm also going to share with you now my training. So what I'm doing specifically for my diet, what I'm using for my nutritional supplements, how I'm doing my exercise-based programs, and what I use specifically for recovery in my high performance program. So I can't wait for that. I really can't. That is is coming in January, so definitely stay tuned for it. But one of the things that I am training with right now is called EWOT, exercise with oxygen therapy. Now, there are different ways to do this. So you can do essentially the outside in the environment, we're breathing in oxygen at about 21%. Like that's the level in the atmosphere around us, essentially low level atmosphere. What we're breathing in is about 21% oxygen. Okay. So when you're doing EWOT based training, which you can do on an exercise bike, recumbent bike, you could do it, marching up and down, however you want to do it on a treadmill. But what you're doing is you're breathing in anywhere between 85 and 95% pure oxygen. And so what that's doing though, is that's flooding your body with oxygen. Now I'm going to share a book review today. If you want to learn more about why this is so powerful, I would check out the book. It's a short book. Honestly, you don't have to read like half of it. You really do. I'm going to share why in just a moment. I always give you the honest truth. And we'll put it this way. And I am going to give you more in the book review, but dis-ease as we know it, inflammation as we know it, cancer as we know it, cannot live in an oxygen-rich environment. But the truth is as well, when people are dealing with fibromyalgia, brain fog, low mood, etc., a lot of it is a low oxygenated state. So how I train with EWOT is a little bit different, and I'm going to be teaching that this January. It's not complicated, but what you're doing is you're actually going from hypoxia, so you're going into a low oxygen environment, hypoxia, and you can do that with this specific EWOT training that I'm doing, and I take it down, instead of being at 21%, I'm taking my oxygen down to 14%. So your body's like, whoa, what happened here? Where's the oxygen? So what happens is your CO2 levels rise, and CO2, when they begin to rise, the oxygen actually will be called for to a greater degree in the tissues. Then when you turn back up the oxygen from 14% to 95%, your tissues get flooded with oxygen. I mean, your mood goes through the roof, your energy goes through the roof, you're balancing healthy levels of inflammation. It's fantastic. And the best part is 15 minutes. That's it. Literally 15 minutes. That's all. So I'm going to be teaching more about that in the future, but it's a lot of fun. I love it. And it absolutely does help with recovery, because if I'm training hard, I just don't have any more hours in the day. Like that's it. I don't have any more minutes in the day. And I'm sure you don't either. So all I'm doing is I'm leaning on health tech. If you saw my, I believe it was 2 Sundays ago, my email on how to integrate health tech into your life without going overboard. And so these are things that I'm doing. You don't even have to buy an EWOT-based training thing. You can actually do it in your local area, and I'll be sharing that again this January as well. All right, so stay tuned for that. Super excited about it. I'll talk about it a little bit more in the book review today as well. Okay, so what's going on over at EquiLife? I'm glad that you asked. This is our semi-annual sale. Hopefully you've seen it by now. Up to 25% off store-wide. Do keep in mind, for EquiLife, it's really hard to give these big discounts. It really is. As someone that formulates for EquiLife, that sets the vision, the strategy for the company, keep in mind EquiLife is 50 employees and growing every single month, helping people in 27 countries around the world. So here's the thing though. These are the highest level functional medicine formulated products in the world. They're produced in GMP manufacturing facilities. They use their FDA-based facilities and their NSF, which we don't even talk about. And the thing is, like, these are super high quality. So for us to be able to give 25% off is really difficult. But we want to do that, and we do it only twice a year. So every July and every November for Cyber Week. So I would absolutely take advantage of this. Subscriptions and one-time purchase are 25% off from site-wide, up to 25% off. And the truth is that the best deals, the best exclusive deals are by signing up at equi.life/text. So equi.life/text for the absolute best deals, because once or twice a week, this week and next week, you'll be getting up to 50% off. So definitely stay tuned. That's on select products. equi.life/text. Can't recommend signing up for that enough. Your initial purchase is $20 off, and then you get your text-based exclusives. All right, so definitely check that out. All of that is out over at stevencabral.com/shop. That'll send you over there if you're not already subscribed by text. Okay, podcast recap for the week. We don't want to miss this. On Monday, this was a big show. Are you waiting for the perfect plan? And then I wrote in parentheses, here it is. All right, so if you've been waiting, like, oh, I'm just waiting for the perfect wellness plan, body transformation plan, diet plan, relationship plan, career-based plan, whatever it is, definitely check out that podcast. Again, these are only 15-minute to 20-minute shows. They go by quick. You can listen to them daily to get them just reinforced into that brain of what we need to do in order to reach our full potential. All right, 2482, how to add an extra 3.23 years to your life in 8 weeks. Brand new research. Anyone can do this. So if you were going to live to 77 years old, right? That's the peak life expectancy in the US. You can live to 80. Like, this is legitimate research, easy to do. Please follow this. And I'm guaranteeing that you could double this because this was only an 8-week study. All right. 2483 was the 4 obesogenic factors making you fat. So basically, we have to understand this. And again, I make no apologies on the show because my highest goal is to serve you. And if I were to say that it's okay to be 150 pounds over your goal weight in terms of health and high quality living and longevity, I would be lying to you, and I can't do that. Now, again, this is not in terms of vanity. It doesn't matter to me at all in terms of body types. That's doesn't matter at all. Like, literally no judgment on this part. However, everything that I speak about is about health and just quality of life and enjoyment. And if your joints hurt, it's difficult to breathe, it's difficult to sleep, and you're ended up with autoimmune issues, type 2 diabetes, and you're on a handful of pills, that's not good for anyone. So my goal is to help in any way that I can. All this information, of course, is always free. And yesterday's show is my top 10 favorite healthy holiday gifts. Instead of giving you like 50 or 60 different products to choose from this year, I just gave you my top 10. And I'll be going over one of them here today as well. So definitely check that out. That was a lot of fun to write as an email, but it was also a lot of fun to do that show. So I love being able to do those too every year. Okay, this week's product review. Now, again, like I said, I actually went back and I'm like, I know I've reviewed this product. I didn't listen to the podcast because I never go back and listen to my shows. I don't want to listen to my own voice. And so what I went though is I found which show it actually was. And it was on episode 2020. No, sorry, it was in February of 2020, and it was episode 1463. So you're welcome to go back if you want. That was that was like 3 offices ago. And I wanted to share it with you here today, and that is the Somavedic. And now if you're watching this on video, which I hope you are, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe to the channel for daily content and shorts exclusives as well. All right, I'm holding both of them up. Again, if you're not watching this on video, that's okay as well. This one that's silver, that's glowing purple right here in pink. They're beautiful, beautiful devices. Obviously, you can see that if you're looking at it right now. And this other one is green. This silver one with the glowing blue is called the Somavedic Harmony. Okay, so this is the smaller one. And then this one right here is my highest recommendation, and this is the Somavedic. So it's just the Vedic, and this is their most popular. It used to be called the Medic, okay? So back in the day, that's the one I got, the Medic, and I want to explain exactly what it does, because like I shared with you in the intro, there is no better device right now at blocking EMFs from your body absorbing them than the Somavedic. And back in 2020, so this is 2.5 years ago, this is the truth, that I wanted to share it with you because I want to be on the cutting edge. And here's what I've always said about the research. I will never share anything that could potentially cause any harm. Like, I've always said that. So let's say the research is phenomenal, which there's some great research out there for like cutting edge nutrients and different injectables. I won't recommend them yet. Like, I won't. They have great upside, but they also may have some downside. May have a lot of downside. So I'm not talking about them whatsoever, nor will I share them until it's definitive that there's no downside. Okay. So I felt though fine sharing this with you, even though there was only 3 research studies back then, because I knew at the very least that you were going to get benefit from the restructuring of water. So what does that mean? And then I'm going to get into the EMFs. Okay. So when you put this Vedic, this is the green one, all right? Somavedic, we'll call it green. You can call it the Vedic. And you put this within 2 feet of water, it helps to restructure the water. What does that mean? Okay, so you're using reverse osmosis, you're using a water filter, it's going through plastic pipes, like whatever it might be. You don't get the energy and the structure, the literally anatomical structure of water that is highly beneficial for absorption in your body. if you're not collecting it from like a running spring, which is the very best thing. You get that energy infused into it. So they literally have studies showing that the Somavedic restructures the water. So it kind of takes it back to the same structure as that of a running spring or moving spring, which is the absolute best water that you can drink. So that in and of itself is enough to say, this is a great device, right? And the second thing, though, is the EMF potential. Now, so this is 5 different scientifically proven studies from 8 different laboratories. So some are doubles, so multiples proving that this works. Okay, so this is the big thing. The Somavedic is now proven to help you not absorb EMF-based waves. Now, this is where it gets a little bit in the weeds. But essentially, we have 3G, 4G, and 5G. In the future, there'll be more Gs. And so what happens is that our wireless modems, the Bluetooth and GPS and all those different things in our car, the computers in our car, our phones, right, our laptops, we are in an electric and EMF-based soup. All around us, we are getting bombarded by these EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies. These frequencies are entering our body and they are disrupting our DNA. That's clinically proven as well. Some people are just more susceptible to others. Like, just keep in mind, some people feel nothing. It doesn't mean that it's not affecting them, but it's certainly, we are affected. And there's a great quote right here, but this is Dr. Theodore Metzis. He is a PhD, Master of Science, and he has his PhD, I believe, in mechanical, electrical, and environmental engineering. I mean, that's pretty high level. EMFs in a car in motion, when brakes are applied and ABS activation, it exceeds normal levels, like even high levels of EMFs. Adding radiation from Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cell phones in a car, plus 4G antennas laid out along the major roads, plus the radars of cars already equipped, located behind, left, or right of the vehicle, the total EMF and EMR fields will exceed any limits humans can tolerate over a long period of time. That was directly from this particular doctor. We have to understand this too. When we're driving in a car, it's called a Faraday cage. We are actually locked in because the metal keeps the EMFs inside. It's pretty wild. So now what does this Somavedic do? The Somavedic emits its own frequency. So I'm going to hold up the Harmony right now, which is meant to be put in your car. So this is a smaller version. It's less than half of the size of the Vedic, the green one. And what it does is you absorb the natural harmonizing frequencies from the Somavedic device. That means that your body is not going to absorb 2 different frequencies at once. So it's going to absorb the natural frequencies being emitted, and these are encased in crystal, infused with gold, platinum, silver, and a few other precious and non-precious metals. Then we have what's called gemstones or gems in the middle. They are now emitting a specific field and frequency, which has been studied that your body then absorbs. Now, in the particular studies, they showed that it improved what's called red blood cell agglutination. So if red blood cells are sticky, the body's going to feel more sluggish, more brain fog, etc. And it's also been shown to improve heart rate variability. That means there is specifically less stress on the body, less oxidative stress, redox potential, if you know what that is, and the body is more in harmony. It's more in sync. So again, I could go on and on about this, but how I use it is this one is used in my office. Okay, and it's used for long car rides. This is the brand new one that I got. I've had the Medic or the Vedic for quite some time. So if I take a 2-hour car ride with my family, you just place this on the floor so it doesn't get broken. And this is just going to emit its frequency within essentially 30 meters around. And then this one right here goes in my living room. And so this one is where our Wi-Fi modem is during the day, but also it's not right next to it, but it's in our kitchen. And what I do is I put water bottles next to it and in my Berkey as well. And then all it takes is 10 to 20 minutes and then it restructures the water. So this is exactly how I use them. Again, if you're watching this on video, and I wish I could turn out the lights right now, so I'll show this on Instagram, these glow a beautiful color as well. So this is a beautiful bright green glow, and this is a purple pink hue. I mean, they're absolutely fantastic. Obviously, as just art pieces in your room, but truly they're functional. And so that's why I use them. Now that there are double the studies, I feel really good recommending this to you, because the truth is, besides like really extreme Faraday paint for your rooms and all these things, and unplugging your modem every night and using kill switches and all of your electrical panels, we don't have a lot. Like, we do not have a lot to protect us. So I wanted to share that with you. I use them with my family, and so I wanted to share it with you as well. And of course, I reached out to Somavedic because it's been quite some time, and you're going to be able to save 20% with the coupon code or discount code Cabral20. It's just CABRAL 20 in all capitals. If this seems like the right fit for you, again, any company that I'm about to review, I ask if our community can get a discount code. They're not inexpensive, but they're absolutely fantastic. So again, if you're in an office all day, or you want this for a long car commute, the Somavedic Harmony, and then the general one that's great for 3G, 4G, 5G plus water structuring. The other does that as well, but this one's great for the water structuring as well, and that's the Somavedic. It's the Vedic model. I'll link those up. StephenCabral.com. What is today's episode? 2485, and I'll link everything up today. All right, so all the research, the book reviews, and the Somavedic, StephenCabral.com/2485. All right, book review of the week. And this is actually, so let me grab this for you. The original book, because I'm going to get that name for you, because I always give credit where credit's due. That's the thing, is like, there's so many brilliant people in this field, is that a lot of people try to take the information as their own. And I don't think that they should. I think that they should just literally pay it forward. So the book that I just read is called the Anti-inflammatory Oxygen Therapy. So Anti-inflammatory Oxygen Therapy, your complete guide to understanding and using natural oxygen therapy. So just read this book, and this is by Mark Circus, I believe, right? Yes, Mark Circus. He also wrote a book called Sodium Bicarbonate. But the original book where this came from was written in 2000. It's no longer in print, really difficult to find. It's like $400 for the book, so no need to buy it. It's more of a physician's manual. It's a little bit more technical. It's called Oxygen Multi-Step Therapy, Physiological and Technical Foundations. And that was by Von Ardeen. And so, again, I want to give credit where credit's due. That was the original information. I believe that was out of Germany, if not Switzerland, right around there. I apologize that I don't know exactly where that original research was from. And the latest book, though, that I just read was the Anti-inflammatory Oxygen Therapy. So that's what I'm talking about right now. Dr. Mark Circus, he was battling, I believe, diabetes, 100 pounds overweight, all sorts of issues. And he's a physician, and he wanted to look more into his health. And so he started to look deep into this to improve his own health and obviously those people in his practice. It's an easy book to read. It might be 200 pages maximum, super easy to fly through. And as I said before, because I'm always honest with you, you get the gist of it in the first 70 to 80 pages. Like, you don't have to go more than that if you don't want to, because then he starts going, okay, it's called EWOT, exercise with oxygen therapy. He also calls it the multi-step oxygen approach. Same exact thing. So basically what he's talking about in the first, let's say 70 to 100 pages is the benefits. And then after that, he's saying, okay, the benefits in cardiovascular disease, the benefits in cancer, the benefits in wound healing, and goes on and on and on. And so you kind of get it by the end, like, oh, well, oxygen's like a panacea. It's a cure-all. If you read this book, that's how you feel. Like that, you're like, oh, I just need to do this and everything's okay. I can tell you for sure that that's not it, right? Like, you also have to ask yourself, why are my oxygen levels potentially too low? We're talking about a tissue level. I'm not talking about just putting on a specific O2 meter on your finger and be like, oh, it's 97, 98, 99, I'm good. It's not about that. It's actually at a tissue level. And if you're dealing with things like chronic inflammation, autoimmune issues, brain fog, migraines, allergies, asthma, poor wound healing, poor immunity, again, chronic fatigue-based issues, I highly recommend at least learning more about it. And again, I'm going to be teaching this in much more depth this coming new year. So definitely stay tuned. It's not going to be my last chat on this, but if you've never heard about oxygen therapy, might be worth looking into. Talks about hyperbaric chambers, which I'm big on. I think they're great, but nowhere near as quick of results, which I know people want. And this is a quarter of the time, and it's like so much less expensive. So that's that. So again, I'm going to be chatting more about it, but I'm going to link up the book. Great little book, Anti-inflammatory Oxygen Therapy, based on the original work by Dr. von Ardin. And it's Oxygen Multi-Step Therapy is the name of that book. All right. Our 2 research studies before we wrap up today's show. The first one is on low vitamin D actually may be one of the main causes of dementia. Now, your doctor probably didn't tell you that. So here's the interesting thing. About 3 or 4 years ago, doctors stopped testing for vitamin D. Pretty crazy, right? Well, health insurance stopped basically paying for vitamin D testing. 25-hydroxy vitamin D is the name of the blood work. So doctors stopped actually recommending it when it's literally one of the most important markers that you could possibly test. You can test your own vitamin D right at home if you want, and you can find that at stephencabral.com/labs. Just click on View All. You'll be able to find it. Without a doubt, you can do it right at home for you or your family. You don't have to, but again, just keep in mind, you can do that for less than the cost of literally paying your copay with your insurance. But here's the thing. And again, you can use these methodologies as well. So this was done by Dr. Alina Hyponen. I apologize. Again, all these names are so difficult for me to pronounce at least. All right, this is out of the Australian Centre for Precision Health at University of Southern Australia in Adelaide. So this was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. All right, so people with low levels of vitamin D had a 54% higher risk for dementia. Additional analysis indicates this may be a causal effect, not just correlation. Interesting, right? And that sufficient levels of vitamin D could prevent up to 17% minimum of dementia cases. So here's the thing. It says that don't look at diet alone and be careful during winter. So why are they saying that? Okay, so here's the thing. Even during the summer, I lab test thousands upon thousands of people every year. Even during the summer, very few people have adequate levels of vitamin D. When you run a blood test, you're just looking for a number between 50 and 70. 50 and 80 is okay as well. Okay, so when I run most people's labs, they're in the 30s. So conventional medicine would tell you that that's totally normal because their range is 30 to 100, which is absurd. It's an absurd range because it's like, okay, well, like 31's okay, and 99 is okay. The range is way too big. The sweet spot is 50 to 80. Definitely not less than 50. You don't really want to go over 80 unless you're working with a healthcare practitioner. Okay, so here's the thing. Yes, you do get vitamin D from the sun, but I have many shows in vitamin D. Not a lot of people are able to convert it, and that's because it's converted in the liver and other cells in the body. And that's because you need magnesium, you need vitamin K2, you need other cofactors. And again, you can get all of those in a good daily activated multivitamin or daily nutritional support powder. But still, a lot of people aren't using those, right? The majority of the world aren't. And the thing is, though, most people are wearing sunscreen, and they're not actually getting a tan in the first place, right? So there's that, right? You can actually get sunlight and get vitamin D and absorb it. And that's probably the best way, right? Because that's the most natural. But then people are worried about photoaging, which is basically your skin wrinkling from the sun. I get it, I understand, but we still need vitamin D. So then the next one is using a vitamin D lamp. You could absolutely do that. They're a few $100s. I have one at stephencabral.com/resources. It's not mine, but I recommend all these great companies like Somavedic today, right? So there's that. And then there's the last one, which is just vitamin D3 supplementation. The reason is, and I'll go over this on another podcast, it's impossible to get it from food alone. You're not getting vitamin D3, not at adequate levels from food alone. It's literally impossible. I've just never seen anyone do it. And a lot of these fortified foods are with vitamin D2. It's not even the absorbable, usable form. It's a toxic form. You want vitamin D3. So with vitamin D3 supplementation, it's probably 50 cents a day, honestly. Like it's somewhere around 50 to like 60 cents a day. And so that's the least expensive way to do it. Most humans, adults, need 2,000 to 4,000 IUs. So that's one way to look at it. That's somewhere between 50 and 100 micrograms using the new labeling. And children need somewhere around 400 to 800. It depends on their weight. You know, my daughters take now 800 to 1,000 IUs. And that's simply because most people need about 36 IUs per pound of body weight. That seems to be the right amount for most individuals. So that's that. I just want to share that with you. Again, we're looking at not just correlation, but actual causation. Low vitamin D can absolutely lead to Alzheimer's and dementia. It's not the only thing, but certainly there's a correlation. All right, I know my show's going long today. Hopefully the information is helpful. One more, I'm going to go through it real quick. Apples keep your brain healthy, right? Huge fan of apples, always have been, right? There's that saying way back in the day, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, it turns out that may actually be true. And I've given you many, many reasons why apples are so healthy for you, but they just did another study, this one specifically on mice. And what they looked at was the antioxidants. And actually, they took the antioxidants derived from the skin of apples. Keep that in mind, skin being the key word here. And they injected it into the brains and bodies of mice. What they found was that it was neuroprotective for the brain. It's a good thing when we're talking about cognition, right? Alzheimer's, dementia. Well, they found that using apple juice was not effective. So what was it? Well, it was actually the nutrients in the skin. That's why I tell you, fruit and vegetables are not about the juice. You don't want to you can actually juice vegetables, but not fruit, because you want the skin for the most part. The berries, the apples, you want the skin. That's where the phytonutrients are, the antioxidants, and specifically in apple, you probably heard about it. I've gone over it before. It's called quercetin. Quercetin is extremely powerful for the overall immune system. So the main nutrient they found was quercetin. You probably heard about quercetin. It's so powerful in terms of being a great antioxidant, a phytonutrient, as we've spoken about before, helps with, as an antihistamine, helps with anti-aging, DNA, and so much more. So again, I just wanted to share this with you. Make sure you're just getting those nutrients in through your fruits and vegetables, whole food as much as you can, 7 to 9 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, predominantly vegetables, but some fruit is okay, contrary to popular belief right now. And again, just wanted to share that with you. Hopefully today's show was helpful. As always, if it was, do feel free to share it with anyone you believe it may serve. Come on back tomorrow. We'll be answering our community's questions on the Cabral House Calls. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. Before you go, I wanted to share a personal story with you. The real reason I began to get well finally is because I figured out what was wrong with me. And that might seem pretty obvious, but I went from doctor to doctor for over 2 years before discovering at-home functional medicine lab testing. These are the labs that enabled me to finally figure out what was wrong with my hormones, blood sugar, electrolytes, and gut health. And once I knew what was wrong, I could then follow a proven plan in order to rebalance my body from the inside out. This is why I believe so strongly in functional medicine lab testing and why I've made it my mission to share these labs with the world. Now at EquiLife, you can order an at-home lab test or lab bundle for you and your family and be able to complete it within the week. Plus, the EquiLife difference is that you're not left to try to read and figure out these labs on your own. We explain what your lab numbers mean, what they mean in the much bigger picture, and then how to go about rebalancing your body in order to heal. To see our full selection of lab tests or to set up a free lab selection call to find out what labs may be best for you, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. And do remember, we ship these all over the world. To find out more and to set up your free lab selection call, simply head on over to equa.life/labs. That's EQUI.LIFE/labs.